start it up.
Actually, no, I don't have that page pulled up. All right. Well, we'll just start. Hello and welcome to the newest episode of the Just Another Castle podcast, also known as the My GN Nintendo podcast. With me today, we've got Matt,
Whoop.
Mike,
Whoop that ass.
we got Flia,
Why did you have to go mobile, Nintendo? I'm kidding. I love you.
and myself, Eli, which we'll get to the mobile stuff. But first, as always, we're going to begin with what we've been playing. So first of all, I want to say that I went and I bought Amiibo. So I bought the new 6 that came out, including the Mario Party 10 bundle. Here's the problem, though. I don't know what to do with Mario Party 10. I bought the bundle and I grabbed the Mario Amiibo out of it. Now I've just got a game I don't know what to do with. So I think I'm just going to sell it on eBay or something because I don't know what else to do with this thing. Because I heard it wasn't that good and I don't think opening it is worth it.
Do what Mike did and sell it for more than what the asking price is for.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got it for $35. I got the Amiibo
Oh, nice.
together for $35. So now the goal is to sell the game for $40 or more dollars, because that means that then the Amiibo was like $8, which is okay. So then I also bought, like Peach, Yoshi, Bowser, Luigi, Toad, got all of them. I started actually packing them away in boxes. I got boxes, and now I'm putting them away in the boxes so that like the light doesn't fade anything,
Oh, gosh.
So that's what I got. Also, Flia will
So
be.
how many amiibos do you have right now, Eli? Seriously.
Which ones are you missing is the better question.
So there's 37 of them, and I've got all
Wow.
except Marth. The only reason I don't have Marth is because they're re-releasing him in April, and I'll wait. I'm not going to pay $100 for Marth like I did with Villager. So I've got 36 out of 37. Because I also have the Gold Mario Amiibo, which I waited for 2 hours in line for just to get one. Okay? So I got one of those. And then, so what I've actually been playing, getting to the Nintendo-related part. So Nintendo sent over a code for Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. So since I didn't have a new 3DS, I went and bought a new 3DS so I could play it. And so I've been playing through that game. Flia's completely right. Like, I am completely in love with Xenoblade. It is such a good game. I played
See, Mike? See?
Yeah, it's good at best. That's what it is.
I'm 17 hours into the game. I'm making my way through it. The problem was Nintendo put embargo for release. It's this Wednesday, which gives you 8 days to play the game, and I really don't understand how you can get through Xenoblade in 8 days. So
You can. I did it in 3 days.
like
Well, you don't sleep.
It's like an 8 game, Flia. My God, no. So like I'm actually taking my time. I'm only playing like 3 to 4 hours a day, which is actually a lot of play time. But for Flia, that's like I don't know. How much he throws away just because he's bored. So I've been playing that. I don't really know what to compare it to. I don't know how much better it is than the first game because I didn't like play.
First game, you noob. It's a spin-off from Xenosaga.
Okay,
Nub.
I didn't play the
Yeah.
original Xenoblade.
Yeah, it's a
There is no
spin-off,
original Xenoblade.
but it's not that there is directly or indirectly related. It has nothing to do with the Xenosaga, Mike.
Yeah. Well, so I didn't play the Wii version of the game. Just
Let's
like
go with that.
shut up.
Let's go with that.
But I think I'm really enjoying it. Graphics are just about as good as Wii, so they suck. But the 3D is really cool, and the battle system is awesome, and the characters are cool, and the story is awesome, and the settings are just so massive and large. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Did you just say the battle system is awesome? Because I'm gonna smack
The
you,
battle
Eli.
system is freaking awesome. It's one of the best battle systems I have
It's one of the
enjoys
it's
in
one of the
RPGs.
worst. It's one of the most disappointing battle systems I've ever encountered in a JRPG. All right, they want to act like it's an action RPG with free range movement. Meanwhile, it's actually just a normal move around basement, turn by turn, wait for your talents to be charged thing. Like that's why the
Well,
last story was better. It had better
Jeff
gameplay.
Bridges says, it's just your opinion, man.
No.
All
My
right.
opinion's right. But
Well,
that's
that's
the
just
problem. My
Jeff Bridges'
opinion's always
opinion.
right. Like, it just can't help it, you know?
So, moving on. How about we go to Matt? What have you been playing?
Not much. I'm just waiting for my Meta Knight amiibo. Cough,
Okay,
cough.
Mike-
My
Just fix it, say, and then I'm going on vacation. Like your Meta Knight amiibo is there. Like it is sitting on my shelf. It is ready to be shipped. The problem is that since I don't freaking have a car to drive it to the post office to ship it off, okay, Matt,
Sure, and yet you go out and buy 50 other amiibo.
that's
Yeah,
because,
right? You know, my brother was like, where's that Rosalina? I was like, I didn't get any word from, you know.
like I still got your Rosalina too. Like I've got both of you. Then the thing is, the reason I was able to go buy Gold Mario is because my parents were asleep and I took my mom's car.
Wow.
He couldn't go to the post office after that, all right? He couldn't drive right over.
Because the post office, I'm sorry, is not open at 1 a.m.
I'm just pulling your leg. I just find it funny how you're like, you're like, oh, I can't ship out your amiibo or whatever, and you like go and buy all these other amiibo.
Getting around to
But,
it. Now, do
yeah,
you
that's
want to tell us about what you've been playing, Matt?
I haven't really been playing much, just the same old like Smash and whatnot. I bought a couple of games from PSN because they had like a sale where I don't know, like 50 games were only $1 each. So I bought a couple from there, but I haven't gotten to try them. But that'll be fun. I got like Pac-Man and Galaga and Mega Man and Tales from Space. So that should be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that Klonoa game, Kolinoa, or something like that?
Kolinoa. No. I don't know. It doesn't... I remember I played the Wii version like a little bit, and it was just... It's weird because I like Kirby games and they're like simple, but I played that game and I'm like, this is really boring. I think I played like an hour of it and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was like Kirby. I looked at it. I was thinking about buying it for $1. Like the games I was looking on that PSN flash sale. Like, by the way, it was like Mega Man X4 and X5, of course. Like, I was like, should I rebuy it because they're awesome? But I like there's Dino Crisis 1 and 2 on there. Those are really good games. Flia, did you play Dino Crisis back in the day?
No,
Oh man, I know you like Resident Evil. It's freaking made by Capcom. It's awesome, bro. Yeah.
I thought about getting that.
3 hours. You can still get it.
okay, I'm putting it on my must play games. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I mean the first one's a survival horror, and then they kind of meant like an action kind of horror for the second one.
Wait. You say Dino Crisis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I played the 3 of them. Also the Xbox
Yeah, you know,
one.
they're awesome. I love that series, man. That shit was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Like I didn't like the
I
third
was
one that
I,
much.
I,
but
I,
one,
I
two-
was thinking you're talking about another title.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, Matt, you should look at that too. No.
Yeah.
You got to get hands full. You're good games right now.
Well, I looked at Dino Crisis because I was like, oh, cool, shooting dinos. Maybe it's like Turok or something, which I didn't play, but I like the idea. But then I looked in and I saw it was like the Resident Evil, like over-the-top camera thing, and I don't really like that perspective, so I'm probably not going to play it.
all right.
But, yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention. Are you done, Matt?
Yep.
All right. One thing I forgot to mention I played was Counter-Strike. Don't think I talked about that last time, did I?
What Counter-Strike?
No.
With the new Source engine? You mean the new Global Offensive?
I mean, not Counter-Strike, Counter-Spy. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Did I talk about that last time?
I don't know, I
Maybe.
can't remember.
Maybe. All right.
It's
It's
like
like
PSN with Ali 2, so you might have talked about it.
Oh, okay. Whatever. You guys should play it because it's fun. I got done like 2 hours. It's like Soviets versus Americans, and they fight, and it's like a stealth game. It's fun, and I'm not usually a fan of stealth games, but I liked it. Mike, what have you been playing?
Playing. Oh, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. I threw my Hyrule Warriors copy on the floor so I could remember to play it, but all I've ever done is kick it out of the way because it's terrible. So I know I haven't played that. I'm on a kind of a crappy streak in Smash. I should be up like a roll of like a nickel. You know what I mean? I should be up that much, but like I just went on a shit streak, so I only got like fifth and fourth, and I didn't make that much money. So that's kind of bothering me. But it was kind of cool. I went to one tournament like way out, like 2 hours from my house, and somebody's like, "Yo, what's a top player doing here?" I was like, "Oh shit, like that's me." But freaking yeah. Besides Kingdom Hearts 2 and Persona Q for the 3DS, like I haven't really like touched much stuff. Like I said, my plan right now is I want to run through Persona Q so I can run through Ocarina of Time 3D, so I can get that legal flashcard, if you know what I mean. Wink, nudge. I played Wii Fit in Prime 3. I'm getting back into that, so yeah. If you need any questions on how Wii Fit works, you can talk to me.
I'm surprised you're playing Wii Fit.
You've been playing
Wii
Wii
Fit's
Fit?
mad fun. It's good. It's a good game.
This is what Mike is spending his time on instead of Shovel Knight and like when he complains about The Last of Us. Instead, he believes that Wii Fit is like one of the pinnacles of gaming excellence.
Yo, do you not know that Wii Fit is better than The Last of Us? All right, like legitimately, you know what? I had more fun playing Wii Fit. Hey, guess what? It's also good for you. All right, so
No, that
The Last of Us is
Eli,
bad for
Eli,
you. And
just now, that has to be the clickbait title of this episode. Wii Fit is better than The Last of Us. I think that we will have 200 comments.
Well, it's funny you say that, Mike. I dare you to join the Podcast Beyond or whatever Facebook group and then just leave. Hey, does anyone else think that Wii Fit is better than The Last of Us? And just see what happens.
You will receive death threats.
I don't mind as long as people acknowledge me.
What about Flia? What have you been playing?
What do you think I've been playing?
Monster Hunter. What are you at? Like 50 hours back?
So
good.
So good game. I'm the last 5 boss battles. There were all new enemies entries for this specific title. You know, I mean, the ultimate title, because Monster Hunter 4 in Japan is released twice. It was released as Monster Hunter 4 and also Monster Hunter 4G. And the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, that is the one that is localized outside Japan, is the one that has a lot of more monsters. And these last 5 monsters, they were all new. They weren't in the Monster Hunter 4. They are freaking epic. So good, so good, so awesome. This game is so fun. Playing alone, online. The story mode is so fun. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, seriously, I think it's one of the handheld titles that I have enjoyed the most.
Well, that's good to hear. You know, you've obviously put a ton of time into it, and
But I know that it's not for everyone. I mean,
is it going to be one of those things where for the next month, every time I'm like, and Flia, what have you been playing? They're like, what do you think?
Yeah, probably the first 3 months. Yeah, probably I will answer Monster Hunter 4. Yes.
All right. Well, now that we're done with that, we can move on to the important stuff. Like, there's now a Kickstarter available for amiibo cases. You know, just in case you wanted to protect your amiibo, you can, or your amiibo boxes. You can now buy a case for it off Kickstarter. That's very important. Just kidding. The big news is that, of course, the Nintendo NX, also the mobile stuff. As important as amiibo are, we should definitely talk about Nintendo's newest announcements from last week, which happened the day after we recorded the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nintendo.
So,
continuing this edition.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I listed out each segment of their news. So rather than just talk broadly about it, there's specific areas you can talk about here.
Ooh, all right. Let's see.
There's a couple of little pieces before that you can probably get through quickly, but the rest is their shareholder stuff.
All right, so I'm just going to skip to the shareholder stuff, and we'll come back to the other news. But sure. Nintendo has caved in with a company called DeNA. Now, DeNA is a Japanese company. It's a lot smaller than Nintendo. They've been making mobile games for a little while now. In this exchange, Nintendo now owns 10% of DeNA, and DeNA owns about 1% of Nintendo, but they've exchanged the same amount of value. So, like, 10% of DeNA stock is worth 1% of Nintendo stock. So pretty much, Nintendo's going to work with DeNA to create some sort of new service, some sort of like new thing, but also to help develop a new mobile platform. In terms of releases, Nintendo is still going to be the one behind the mobile releases. Nintendo will still be the one developing the games, but DeNA is going to be helping, create get Nintendo kind of learn the.
Yeah, in a way, what you're trying to say is that DNA is the one that is creating the environment for the
Yeah.
games.
And they're also helping with the actual new service thing that they're going to create, which will help replace Club Nintendo and be hopefully a thing that transcends different consoles and devices.
Yeah, but why DNA? Like, you look at their crappy Google Play games. Like, meh. Like
Yeah, they're not
the people who did Puzzle and Dragon. Like, why wouldn't they want to team up with them? That's the people who did Puzzle and Dragon are the biggest mobile company in Japan.
Yeah, it's interesting, but they only had that one game. It's I think it's Gung Ho Entertainment or something, but they only have one game. They only have Puzzles and Dragons. They don't have anything else. So Nintendo might have wanted to look for someone that's been doing it a lot, or someone who's seen relative success in many games rather than just one.
From what I've read, is that the appeal of DNA from Nintendo part is that the way that they handle and maintain it and grow in the mobile business. That was the key aspect.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll never know for sure why DNA specifically, but there was news afterwards that DNA and Nintendo have been talking for 5 years now. So, that's really kind of before Puzzle and Dragons really hit its stride in Japan. So there's a myriad of reasons on why Nintendo chose DNA. But I think the more significant thing is, first of all, what do you think this service is going to be? It's going to be some sort of membership service across PC, smartphones, Nintendo platforms, etc. So what I was thinking is a sort of subscription service where you pay a certain amount every year, kind of like PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live, and then you get access to this whole platform. And they said they wouldn't port games because of controls, but I still am convinced that they're going to bring some sort of virtual console stuff to phones in one form or another. That's not necessarily ports, but more I guess, emulations.
Well, that's still what they mean by ports. They said they're not going to take Super Mario Bros. 3 and put it on an iPad.
They're not going to do straight ports, but they said they said that their key is to make sure their controls work. That was the big thing. So I feel
I was exactly going to say about that. I mean, perhaps not sooner, but later they can find a way to put a new type of controller where you can use it in your smartphone or your tablet or your PC, and you can still play original Nintendo games. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, one important thing, they obviously have to have some sort of unified system. If I buy a game on iPhone or Android, it better work on every other device that I own, because I'm not going to buy some sort of
Pokemon. Yeah, you are not going to buy 6 times the same title.
Yeah, because that's ridiculous, especially in our day and age where people own so many different types of devices. A PC, a phone, their own Nintendo system, whatever it is. So that's what I'm thinking. What are you guys thinking specifically about maybe this Club Nintendo system? What sort of rewards thing do you think they'll put in place? Matt, you want to go first?
I'm not sure. I still don't think it's going to be the virtual console thing you think it is, because they still don't even have certain games from the Wii U eShop on the 3DS one, or vice versa. So they would have to make those and then make the iPhone ones or iPad ones, and I don't know. I don't really see them going for that. I think some other suggestions I heard was maybe you have a separate app on your a separate game on your iPad, like a fishing, I don't know, a Zelda fishing game or something, and then in the next Zelda you can transfer some of that data over and get a couple extra bonuses, kind of like Amiibo sort of thing. That wouldn't really be tied into the membership. That would be just more within the app itself, and just trying to create, say, oh, you can use this in another game here, a cheap way of advertising the other games. As for what the membership really does, I'm not too sure, because membership sounds like you have to pay for it, like a subscription. It may not be, but that's what I'm thinking it might be. But
What if it was something like the Digital Deluxe program, where it gave you like incentive to buy products and return part of your money, or like perhaps some sort of digital goods? I don't know, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think it could be an evolution of that somehow. But the thing that confuses me is how it ties into PCs and smartphones.
Well,
Because it's not like they're gonna have a game that's on 3DS, Wii U, PC, and smartphones, where the membership would make sense. So I don't know. I'm not sure how they're gonna connect those two ecosystems.
but it's not just about the games. It's kind of like the whole platform as
Sure.
a thing. So, like, what I was thinking is something perhaps akin to PlayStation Plus, even, where you pay for it and there's like a huge incentives or whatnot. But PlayStation Plus, you can access like a mobile app or whatnot to purchase games, to kind of like review achievements, or kind of like interact with all your friends, send them messages, etc. And then Nintendo would release its own mobile games, of course, to also kind of interact with whatever app they create. But I feel like it's more of a platform thing, not necessarily, we're going to release the same game across all platforms, or we're bound to release this many games wherever. Um, you know, what about Mike? Is Nintendo now dead to you?
Mobile? Yeah, that's it. They're dead. It's over. I mean, like, to be honest, if it's anything mobile, I'm like 90% sure I won't even buy it. I'll only give that 10% because it's Nintendo, and I'll look at it. That's which is that's great for me. I mean, mobile 10%. Like, you guys have never even heard those numbers come out when it comes to mobile from me. But to be honest, I have no idea what direction they're going. Like, what is Virtual Console getting an update? Is it going to be completely different? Because that means the Wii U and 3DS interface has to be completely changed, like Matt was saying. So it's like, what, we're going to have a whole new eShop or something like that. But at the same time, like, is Club Nintendo going to be directly tied to mobile purchases and what mobile games consider? And I do believe they're just gonna bring ports of emulation games. Like, Game Boy games do seem primed for an iOS kind of thing. Of course, there'll be stuff like like how Rayman Origins / Legends had an iOS game, and Sonic as well. Like, there's gonna be stuff like that, of course. But I could really give two craps about mobile. Like, unless it's really something interesting. Like I said, I'm not an 8-year-old or a 40-year-old mom. I don't give a shit about mobile.
Man, it almost seems like, they said they were talking since 2010. And you said, like, what are they doing? So when they were first approached by DeNA in 2010, they're probably like, proposed this whole idea. And Nintendo's probably like, nah, man, we got the Wii U. That thing's going to do so, we just did so well. You're going to see, we're going to show you wrong. And then, like, after the Wii tanked, and then tanked again, and then didn't really do that well, they're probably like, no, you guys right,
we were totally on board with it. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We'll give you 10% of your company.
Yeah, that's just something I find funny. What about you, Flia? What are you thinking?
Well, it's really, like I said, and people were asking me also here in my in the comment section. Well, I have to be honest. I answered it's too soon to tell, because we really don't know anything. But in my mind, I think Nintendo has been researching this type of technology from a long time now. If we are really looking back, I think they were the precursors of the touch technology with the DS back in the day. And from the perspective of the online infrastructure, since they releases the Wii, they have been really looking forward, slow like Nintendo does, but they have been researching a lot. What I really don't know is this is the thing that I'm really afraid of, is that they, with this merge, I mean, with all the devices together, you can really squeeze the hardware of any device. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, if we have the same game or app that you can use in your PC, you can use in your smartphone, you can use in your tablet, you can use in your next Nintendo system, you can use in your new 3DS, and you can use in your Wii U hardware, there has to be some sort of medium or slow hardware specs so the game can work and see and feels the same way in every device, That's really what scares me the most. I mean, this game, for example, X game, a new Mario game that is coming in all the devices. Is it really worth it to download it and play it on the Wii U, or playing it on a smartphone, where I will be more suitable to play it? Or I can keep it on the 3DS because the 3DS has the 3D view. I don't know.
Well, so
You know what I'm talking about, no?
yeah, well, I think they're going to be their mobile games are going to be exclusively for iOS and Android. But what I'm thinking is that like we give mobile games such a bad rap, and I have to confess I really don't play any mobile games whatsoever. I think the only thing I ever downloaded was 2048, and that was just because my friends downloaded it. I really haven't played anything on mobile, and so just thinking about it, like there are games that people think of, oh my god, that mobile game is really good. Like if we're thinking about Device 6 or Monument Valley, some of Square Enix titles are supposed to be really good on iOS, stuff like that. So when I'm thinking back to what Nintendo might create, if they actually do well, and even companies like Ubisoft, like their Rayman Jungle Run or whatever, which was an infinite runner, was supposed to be really, really good on iOS, even though it was an infinite runner. Like, if Nintendo puts the right guys on the game, puts the right franchise in it, and creates a good game, like, that would be so awesome. And I think it would do really well in the eyes of the serious gamer community. But if they're releasing something like Angry Birds, I don't even know, or like Temple Run, and instead of a freaking guy running through Mayan ruins, it's Mario running through the Mushroom Kingdom, I don't think we're going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, we can't have any Sega-like clones where they just kind of slap Sonic on top of an endless runner and do something like that with Nintendo. But they have some. They said their no franchise is untouchable. They can use any franchise they want, and same with the models. They might have microtransactions. They might be paid apps. They might be free apps. Whatever. Although they said they're not going to try to harm their brand by milking you money for it. But
yeah, one thing that, excuse me, Matt, that I want to say that's because I will forgot. One thing that made me rest easy and feel a little bit safe is what Iwata said in the press conference with the other CEO of the DeNA company, is that they will still make full games from their consoles, They will not deviate from what Nintendo is. I mean, he said that twice. So with that, I'm happy, in a way that said, perhaps it's fun to have that game or app in a cell phone or a mobile, but I still want to play the next Legend of Zelda on the next Nintendo system,
Yeah, it's just kind of an easy way to make quick money. But back to what I was saying, there are some franchises that would be pretty good on mobile, like Animal Crossing. Maybe not an exact Animal Crossing game, but that kind of connectivity is, really suited to Animal Crossing, and Street Pass and whatnot would work really well. And Pikmin, like, crap, I forget what they're called.
Pokemon.
Well, I think it would be...
Whatever, strategy games are perfect for something touch sensitive like an iPad, so I could definitely see a Pikmin game in some form working.
Well, I mean, the thing I want to talk about is specifically if we're to bring up the two franchises like Animal Crossing and Pokemon. These are just examples, of course, but the iOS could hold the mini game side of it. For example, in Animal Crossing, if someone just ran around their town on their mobile device and they could, pick up weeds or whatever, or like, none of the really serious tasks. Or for example, in Pokemon, where I think it would be more useful is like super training your Pokemon while you're on the bus or whatnot on a mobile device. It would be a lot more doable and a lot easier to do. So I think that's one example.
Yeah,
And
but the
Super
3DS
Train
is portable, so like,
Yeah,
why are we
I
counting this
just
out?
the new 3DS, and although it fits in my pocket, it looks like a bulky piece of like.
Nobody uses pockets anymore. I haven't used a pocket since
I use
2009 of April.
pockets.
I
Like,
use pockets.
I'm not putting my stuff in my backpack because if something
I
happens
use
to my
pockets.
backpack, I can't.
I use Pocket.
yeah, you gotta
I'd
use
rather have
cases,
things-
or you just carry that shit like a man
no.
in your hand. All right, like,
I
damn.
No.
walk through a friggin' city carrying a $200 device in my hand. Come on.
Well,
I keep
I'm a
things-
man, so it's like I can do that. No, but like seriously, you
Speaking
guys
from the
are
guy who
saying
got his
things
car
that are. You know what? You're walking around with an iPhone, which is like $400. So like, really, like, if we're gonna talk out numbers over here, all right?
Yeah,
Well,
but
I don't
So-
have an iPhone.
I have theft protection.
And yeah, it doesn't matter. Like the things like that. I'm just
Sorry,
saying,
but
it's like you guys are saying all these mobile
I value
things, which are
more.
guess what? The 3DS is mobile. Like my 3DS is not in my
Mike,
house, just stay chilling in the
Mike,
charger.
I
I carry
value
it with me everywhere I go. Like that's the
Mike,
point of it.
Mike. I
So
value
why am
more
I gonna
my
do
old
all these things on mobile when I can do them on my 3DS?
Because it's
Mike.
for people who don't have a 3DS. That's the point.
Mike. I
Yeah,
value.
but
I
then you
value
guys said there's a
more.
subscription fee, etc. And whatever. Like I said, it's for 40-year-old moms and 8-year-old kids. That's all I gotta say.
I value more my Game Boy than than an iPhone.
Yeah, really. Like, I agree with
But
that. I mean,
I
I
don't know.
hate everything Apple, so I would throw an iPhone on the
Well,
floor before I
just-
even looked at what.
Well, I mean, an example of a successful business model is Pokemon Shuffle, which we don't really think about because we're not engaged in that sort of thing. But Nintendo revealed that the game's been downloaded more than 2.5 million times. Now, let's
It's
just
also free.
well, yeah, but let's just say that 0.1% of these people decide to pay. 1 in 1,000 people decide to pay, which I think is pretty reasonable. And they've already probably made, thousands of dollars on it, and that's just a small little mobile title. If they could expand that audience to the point where during the conference they said they want to reach 100 million people, and you got
Well, Eli, excuse me. There is no question here that Nintendo will make money. There's no brainer on that. The stocks raised in 24 hours 25%. They're gonna make money, and even more, tons of money regardless of the app. Here the problem is the quality of the game. I think in my case.
yeah, and I mean I have faith in Nintendo. I don't think they're gonna screw some up, especially if it's their own IPs. Nintendo has taken such care, other than Hyrule Warriors, which was a lot of people actually enjoyed, even though it wasn't the best game with Link and Zelda in it. Nintendo is taking great care with its properties, especially in the last 10 to 15 years. And so I don't really think they're going to just decide to screw over their whole reputation that they've been building with a crappy mobile game. Like, it doesn't
It's
seem...
also Nintendo making these games, right? It's not like they said they passed off their IPs to DeNA and were like, here you go, we don't care, just make some crap. Like
Yeah,
Nintendo's
that's what I
actually
thought it
developing it.
No,
No, Nintendo's actually making them.
Yeah, as long as they don't do the CDI games.
Well, so I mean, I think we can have a little faith in them.
Yeah.
And as Flia said, like, there's no question that this isn't going to make them money. It's a genius decision. Now, what I thought was the funniest was just searching through the comments on all the Nintendo fan sites, and it was like, I'm pretty sure 90% of you guys, had I asked you yesterday, would have said that Nintendo would never turn to mobile, and Nintendo would be like, pretty much all the comments that we ever had was Nintendo's never going to mobile. That's what makes them so special. We're a special company. Nintendo's way better than everyone else. Microtransactions suck. And like, I think this announcement just kind of flipped every Nintendo fan upside down. And like, I didn't want Nintendo to make mobile games. Like, I've never been a fan of that. But when they announced it, I wasn't like I wasn't ever so vehemently against it to where I looked like an idiot once they announced it.
Yeah, one thing that scares me the most is that in the future when they release these mobile games, and they are really cool. I mean, they got 10s and 9s and masterpieces scores. I will be so jelly that people are playing it and I'm not, so I'm probably gonna buy them too. So
Yeah, I mean, okay, how about before we move on to the NX announcement, we just share our thoughts on this. So we know that the first mobile game is going to come out by the end of this year. So here's the 3 questions. Number 1, what do you think it might be? And, you can be as vague as you like. Number 2, what sort of type of business model do you think it'll employ? And number 3, do you think it will be a good game? So I guess I'll start. So for me, I think their first thing's just going to be a port of Pokemon Shuffle because, this deal was only just announced and Pokemon Shuffle seems like the only thing that they have remotely ready for such a large change. I think the business structure is still going to be free to download and then pay as you can now for like $1 for an extra gem. And so as a result, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be solid. I think their first game is going to be something decent that people will look at and be like, oh, this worked. Mike, what about you?
Well, thanks for stealing my idea, jerk.
No.
But
You can just elaborate. You can.
Yeah, you can expand.
yeah, no, I was literally thinking that same thing too. I was like, oh, free download, what's stupid and terrible? Oh yeah, that game. And then I was like, it's perfect for mobile. But like that was legit what I thought, you know. And I do like Matt's idea with using Pikmin for mobile because I mean I feel Pikmin are pretty irrelevant and they'd be pretty good mobile. But if you're gonna, I mean, I do agree. It's probably gonna be some Pokemon. Maybe also you could look at that SRPG series that came out for the DS near the end of the life, like its lifespan. I can't remember the name of, but
Advance
like maybe
Wars.
something like that can be built on with a sequel on some
Advance
mobile.
Wars.
What?
Advance Wars was the game.
Yeah, no, not actually Advanced Wars. I'm talking about the Pokemon SRPG one.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
Conquest.
I remember.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it. Yeah, I'm saying maybe a sequel that could come out to that. Advanced Wars would be
I can
cool.
see
I
that.
mean, but I think people would rather have Advanced Wars on the 3DS. Like it's that's like a pretty looked at game. Like if you ask like a lot of people or like a lot of people who just like are fans of Nintendo, like everyone loves Advanced Wars apparently. So it's like I wouldn't see that on mobile. I feel like that'd be a slap to the face to them. But I could see that Pokemon Shogun, whatever the hell they call it again. I forgot the name again. But yeah, I could see that being the other game that's not Shuffle.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
all right.
Tipping Stars could also make an appearance on there because that seems like the perfect kind of mobile game along with Pokemon Shuffle.
Oh, Brain Age.
Yeah, that too for sure. Just to say something different than both of you, maybe like a companion app or a game that connects to another game that's releasing this year. And maybe like a Zelda mini game thing, and then I don't know, you can get rupees in it or items or something to craft with, and then you can transfer it over to Wii U. I wouldn't say Zelda specifically because I think it's kind of too far into development or too close, and I don't think they would have gotten into that yet. But I think there could be a game that connects to some other Wii U game coming out this year.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Do you think that their service, their new like platform thing, is going to launch by the end of the year?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, because I think they wouldn't bother saying too much of this deal unless they already had stuff in plans. Like they already said,
Yeah,
oh yeah, we're
agreed.
making these games, and there's a game coming out this September, so I'm sure
My
they
God,
have some semblance of their program.
You're exciting me for E3.
For iPhone games?
No, for like not for that, but just like to see their new direction. Not iPhone games, but like their new platform.
Yeah, I agree with what Eli is saying. I'm excited about the new platform, you know? Yes.
I'm not sure if they're going to
That
announce
way,
it
yes.
at E3.
But if it's going to be out by the end of the year, no, I'm not talking about Nintendo NX. I'm talking about like their whole.
No, I know. You mean their subscription or membership program.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll
Service.
really remember that or mention that at E3.
I don't know if it's going to be out by the end of the year. It seems like E3 would be an excellent time to be like, hey guys, here's the new direction of our company. You know, you're still going to get these games that you love on, you know, your platforms, and Zelda is an excellent example of that. But we also have like mobile games that are going to enhance your Nintendo experience, and we're doing that through this new platform or whatever. And then they go and announce it. But it would have to be, in order for it to be exciting, it would have to be like something to blow my socks off. Like it would have to be really special.
Side note, when you were talking about the 3DS and how big it is, I like to carry things in my pockets just because I don't like keeping things in my backpack in case my backpack gets stolen or for some reason left behind or whatever. I always like having like my wallet and keys and things on me. And I've been carrying my 3DS XL in my pocket since, I don't know, a year and a half ago or whenever that Pikachu one came out. And I've noticed it's starting to rip apart in my jeans because my pockets are only so big and it like crams them right in there. And like the corner of the 3DS XL is just poking through my jeans. It's like good thing I'm graduating because I don't know how long my jeans will last. It's going to tear a hole in it.
You're a poor student. You're not allowed to buy new clothes.
No.
All right, Flia, what about you? What do you think this new game might be? Do you think it's going to be a good game, etc.?
I think that this is personal opinion, and also subjective. I think that Nintendo from a long time had an idea of how to put their main mascot, I mean Mario, in even more hands in the worldwide. So I think from a long time now, they have been cooking a new Mario game. And I think this platform and this type of technology and the way they're going to make it, I think that will be the game. And I think that game is not meant like this is my opinion, meant to link in any other system, but it's meant to share with all the other system in some sort of way. So I don't know, perhaps via coins from the game or power-ups, but I think they have this idea, they have been cooking it, I don't know, for maybe 10 years. And now they are going to show us to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's no brainer that it's going to be Mario, because what we can deny. I think Mario, there's even people that know more Mario than God itself.
Well, we do know that he's more popular than Mickey Mouse. But why don't we move on to the second part of this big announcement, which was the fact that Nintendo NX is in development. Now, we don't know anything about this, okay? And like the first thing, the only speculation there was that the X stands for cross. So like, like something like we heard about the Fusion, where it's two systems together, like a handheld and a device. Matt and I talked a little bit about the fact that it could just be a console, and then the device interacts with that console if you decide to buy the handheld version of it or a side, just so that it's cheaper, because buying $600-700 device with two screens is kind of really expensive.
I thought they would have done that with the Wii U, to be honest, with the new 3DS and having extra buttons and a control stick. I figured they would have made a gamepadless bundle. And then for the people who pick up the new 3DS, it's like, here's a $200 Wii U, but maybe not.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But so before we actually get into the whole speculation part, because I don't think we're really in a state where we can do that, I just want to kind of go around and we can share our thoughts on when we think this thing is coming out, in terms of like what year, what time period, and kind of justify a reasoning. Now, I wrote an article on this, so I kind of did some research. So I guess I'll go last. But just something I think it's safe to discuss, because anything else I feel is off the table just because we don't know anything about the Nintendo NX. So, Matt, what about you? When do you think this thing could come out?
Okay, so Iwata already said that next year. I don't know if he said E3, but he said next year we're going to hear about the NX in some form. So I looked this up before, and usually within the third or fourth year, Nintendo will show off or announce their new console or show tech demos or whatever, and then the year after they initially show it is when it comes out. So next year, 2016, they showed off. 2017 is probably when we'll get it. Crap, what else was I going to say? Shoot. So they showed off in 2016, comes out 2017, and by the time it's 2017, the Wii would have been out for 5 years, so that's still the full 5-year length console cycle. But more importantly, I think it will launch with the next Mario game. So I have a couple of things to back this up with. In December 2014, Miyamoto said the next Mario game could be on the next Nintendo console. Nintendo also said there's no new Mario game for 2015, so this year is out.
No primary Mario game, because
because they have a couple of spin-offs.
Yeah,
but no main Mario game for 2015. And they also said when they announced it that they weren't sure if it's for 3DS or Wii U, so handheld or home console. And maybe, in fact, it's neither, and it's for the NX, which is the hybrid console, which has the best of both worlds. And by the time, what else did I write? By the time they announced that Mario game in 2014, and by the time it's 2017, the game would have been in development for at least 3 years. So that's plenty of time for it to come out and be a launch title. And Miyamoto also said, oh yeah, I already said that it could also be a launch title. But yeah, I think the next Mario game will be a launch title for the NX, which kind of sucks because we only would get 3D World, but it still would be cooler to have a launch game for a new system than wait another 2 years.
All right. What about Mike? What about you? When do you think that this thing could launch?
You're talking about the NX, right?
Yes, correct.
Well, I know close to nothing about it. I'm pretty sure we all know, and I haven't really thought about it. Like, to be honest, like I don't see it launching for like two years, or like maybe like, let's see, 2015 right now, right?
Yes.
So
It is 2015.
yeah, all right. Damn, I thought it was 2002. Got it. All right. So I don't see it like. I don't even see an announcement until like next year. Like, that's how bad it's. Like, I know we're gonna get some info, but I don't feel like we're gonna learn anything, and I don't feel like nothing can be like finalized about this. But if I had to guess it, let's say 2017, whatever the hell they call it these days, and the Mario game coming out as a launch makes sense, Matt. Like, I did want like a Mario 64 type game on the Wii U, which I mean I could live without now. I mean I enjoyed it, like its run of somewhat good first party games. Like, there's still more games to come. Like,
Yeah.
I feel though like Legend of Zelda Wii U might be like the last big Wii U game, unless they're gonna shock us all at E3. Like, there's still Star Fox coming, but I'm talking about like the caliber of Zelda or Mario. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll probably
But
work on the next thing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes sense for the next thing. Like, yeah, the projects that are being done will be get done, but I feel like all projects that were just starting out, or like were gonna come to the Wii U, and that have been like on the black for us, are probably gonna go to this new system, unless it's completely something else we didn't know, and it's like some sort of NES all the way to Wii U machine with some updated crap. But I don't see that happening either, because they need a new system to quote unquote compete with with the PlayStation no games, and Xbox I have one game that doesn't work. So
Which game is that, by the way? Oh,
it's
Halo Master
Halo
Chief
Master Chief
Collection.
Collection.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, I don't know. Like, I would like something new. At the same time, I want something new. It's like, look, if you're gonna go for this new system, I'm down. Like, I'm fine as someone who bought a Wii U for you guys to stop supporting it. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, then go all in on this one. Like, make it like your next N64, not the next GameCube again.
All right. Well, let's go to Flia before I round out these thoughts. Flia?
Okay. I think that they will announce the system in E3 from 2016, and the system will release in November from 2017.
Man, you guys are 2017 people, man. The same thing that I talked to everyone on the site with. I think it'll come out next year. And so the reason I say
It's
that,
too soon because Wii U, it doesn't have that long lifespan.
well, that's
It's
the thing.
too soon.
So that's okay. Let me explain myself. I actually have
Wrong.
what? No, let me explain myself.
Just kidding.
So number one, Nintendo life cycles, all of them except for the Wii, were 5 years long. Okay, so 5 years, 5 years. If the Wii U's 4 years long, it's not the end of the world. It's only a year shorter than all the other cycles were. Okay, that's first and foremost. So as Mike said, I wouldn't feel cheated if they just stopped with Zelda. The system, buying the system would have still been worth it. Okay. Second of all, Nintendo has really been pushing the idea that every single one of its games, except for Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem, which they haven't talked about at all, every single other one of those games, they have been pushing and pushing that it will be out before the end of this year. Like, if you remember the Game Awards, they nailed into our heads that Zelda would be out before the end of this year. And then they said Star Fox would be before that. So it seems like all their big hitters are going to be out before the end of this year, and then they have like kind of one game, perhaps they'll announce another 1 or 2 at E3 this year, but they don't. It doesn't seem right now like they have games for end of next year and year after that. So unless they, announce some stuff really quick or at this year's E3, it seems like Nintendo's. If they wait until 2017, it seems like 2016 will be the year that Nintendo just lets the Wii U die. Just like with the Wii. We're just like taking the last gasping breaths, and it gets 3 games in the whole year, and it's just terrifying.
I think it's a little too early to say, oh, they have nothing for 2016 because it's only March.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's still
that's true.
quite a,
But it's
but I will say that I think them hammering in Zelda's going to be in the end of the year is because they need big titles and to have holiday titles. Same thing with Smash. They're like, we are going to have this game out by Christmas because we freaking need this game out by Christmas. But I don't know. I think you might. I don't entirely agree, but I think you do have some points at the fact that they are putting out a lot of games out this year. Is it like one every month or something?
Yeah, they've got.
So I don't know how long they can keep that going.
Yeah, they've got
honestly,
more than one a month, and it's not. They've got more than one a month for the Wii U, and that's not even counting the 3DS. So.
I mean, I think they only have a couple other studios that we don't know of, like Next Level or maybe some of the EAD ones that could be working on something. But I think everyone's pretty busy right now. So next year could be a bit of a drought. Or maybe, like you said, next year is where they fall off and they announce their new console.
Yeah, and there was one other thing I wanted to bring up. Nintendo, or Iwata, through all of the investor meetings, he's always asked about profits, blah, blah, blah. And what he's repeatedly said is that by March 2017, the company will return to quote-unquote Nintendo-like profits. So that means before March 2017, Iwata foresees something is going to happen where they're going to make huge money again. So, maybe he means this new sort of service. Maybe he means mobile games. Maybe he thinks that by that point, mobile games are going to be making crap tons of money for him. But the way I interpreted that is in 2016 at the end, a console's launching. It's going to be really successful. And then by 2017, they're seeing Nintendo-like profits. So that's just kind of the way I interpreted it. So I know a lot of people are really not agreeing with me, and I completely understand why. But, it's just something I encourage people to watch out for, because I think 2016 is really possible. Yeah. Any closing thoughts before we move on to some other news? No?
No.
All right. What?
Nope.
Nope. All right. So there's some news here. First of all, Splatoon will have no voice chat. What the heck? Like, what the heck, Nintendo? Come on, none whatsoever. Ugh.
Yeah, sad.
I mean, you'd think they'd learn eventually, and when they do something like that DeNA deal, you'd think like, oh, they kind of maybe understand the market, and then
No, the fact that they're partnering with someone else makes me understand that they don't understand the market because they need someone else's help. There's nothing wrong with that because you obviously get their expertise, but
yeah, DeNA probably walked in there like, you still don't have voice chat, and they're like, yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? And they're probably like, no, Nintendo, no.
They're like, do you have an internet connection in here?
Do you have Wi-Fi? And they're like, no, we're still on dial-up. Like, so that's terrible. It seems like such an integral part of Splatoon, just like the whole strategy portion. Just playing it, I was constantly communicating with my team members. It just doesn't seem like something you could play. Apparently, there were a bunch of features that they actually took out. I'm just going to read off
Really?
some of these.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So there was supposed to be LAN. There was supposed to be split screen. There was supposed to be local 4-on-4 multiplayer. There was supposed to be lobbies and private and custom games, spectator mode. Apparently, none of that is going to be in there.
Wait, they said that they planned those?
Yeah.
They wanted?
Yeah.
Why the heck would they say that? They're like, look at all these things that we're not going to bother with.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. And so none of that. Like, apparently they're going to have 1 versus 1 local, where one person is on the gamepad versus one person on the TV. But
Are there CPU players?
I think so. I don't
There
know.
better be, or else that's gonna be incredibly boring.
But wow, Nintendo game, man, they sure screw up a lot of things. I guess we'll go on here. Apparently,
Uh,
oh, what do you want to say?
I was just gonna say, and just to be clear, Nintendo confirmed. Like before, we weren't sure if Splatoon would have voice chat or not, but someone actually talked to a Nintendo rep, and they said flat out that there's no voice chat
Yeah,
whatsoever.
exactly.
So that's why this is different now.
They had some sort of event recently, I think, just for Splatoon, because like 5 sites
Yeah.
released previews today.
Yeah. So.
But that's still slated to come out in May. Nintendo's Iwata says that the Zelda Netflix rumors. Okay, you wrote not true in here, but he didn't say they were untrue. He just said that as of right now, I have nothing to share with you in regard to the use of IPs for any TV shows or films. Okay, so that sentence right there makes me think that I don't have anything to say at this moment. You know, we might have some sort of Nintendo IP somewhere in some TV show or film. He says, I can at least confirm that the article in question is not based on correct information. Like, he didn't say it's incorrect. He didn't say it's like completely off base or that it's not happening. He said it's not based on correct information.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but it seems like there was some sort of truth in this article in the fact that Nintendo probably, got goody with someone in order to, release some sort of TV show using Nintendo IP. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. I just wrote that as the title.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said, that they weren't true. But yeah, no, he didn't say it's an outright lie and it's not happening. He's just like, well, we can't say anything now, and that article isn't based on correct information, so that means some of it could be false, but some of it could be true. So it's not like he's saying, oh, we don't comment on rumors and speculation, which they usually do, or this is definitely not happening, we haven't talked. He's just like, well, some of it's not. He said it's not based on correct information, which doesn't mean all of it is false. So I think there's a window there.
Yeah, and I guess we'll only see, maybe at E3 or something we'll see it, but although it doesn't seem like the right place. Maybe even Nintendo Direct.
I mean, with Amiibo and mobile games now and stuff, Nintendo's and partnering with other studios to make games, Nintendo's trying to break all these other fields. So it wouldn't be a surprise if they got something on Netflix.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? Like, maybe it'll be one of those things where Nintendo isn't even the one releasing the press release. It's just Netflix or some cable company.
Yeah, but you know why? Imagine if it's really a huge success. Imagine the future.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but for step one, it has to be good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, it's a funny thing. Back when Nokia said there was a 3DS XL, Nintendo's like, no, that's a lie. That article is wrong. And then 4 months later, they're like, yeah, here's a 3DS XL.
It wasn't months later. It was literally 2 weeks later. If you
or what? Oh my gosh!
Remember, Nintendo held their own direct like 2 weeks after that E3, where Iwata was interviewed, or was it Miyamoto? Miyamoto was interviewed, and they're like, "Is there this new thing that was rumored?" And he's like, "Nah, man, nah."
Yeah. So companies like to lie and cover their tracks because their PR doesn't go exactly as planned. So they can lie and still things happen.
Yeah. Moving on. The Mewtwo DLC is pretty much done. We'll see an announcement about that soon for those that bought the 3DS and Wii U versions of Smash. And then later, the people will be able to buy it at a price. Scrolling down, Nintendo stock.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy the 3DS version of Smash.
Yeah,
just to get Mewtwo.
I didn't buy I didn't buy it, but I registered my brother's copy, so I'll be okay. Iwata isn't interested in using pay-to-win models, but no models off the table. We kind of talked about that. Pretty much most of the news from last week, as it should have been, was just centered about this Nintendo stuff. Concerning their new platform, quote unquote. So there's not really much other than that to discuss. I mean, Mario Party 10 came out. Nobody really liked it. You know, people like me bought the game just for the amiibo. Like, I wonder how many people the bundle just to get the amiibo.
That's sad. That's like spending $10 for a box of fruit, a family-sized Fruit Loops or something, just for like the surprise Cracker Jack thing inside.
Yeah, well, to be fair, as I said, I got the package for $35, so I'm looking to sell it for at least 40. So I think
How
I'll.
did you get it for that cheap?
So
Because I saw someone else got it for $35 too. I'm like, what? Isn't it six?
I got it is first of all, I get 20% off Best Buy if I buy it from Best Buy. So that brought the price down to 48, and then I had $10 in reward certificates, so that brought it down to like 38, 35 even. So that's how I got it for that cheap. So even if I
Is
did
that from your friend's discount or something else?
no, for the Gamers Club Unlocked, which by the way, every person should go to Best Buy and get Gamers Club Unlocked because it's only $30 and it gives you 20% off any new game that you buy there or amiibo. So
Yeah, I'll buy it off you for 30. You don't want it, so.
But Mike, he has to ship it to you, and that's gonna take at least like 3 months.
yeah, you never.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You don't know these sort of shipping
I
times.
mean,
I don't know if you want.
I could wait, but
Yeah, I guess we'll discuss that a little later. But we've been going for about an hour. You know, we've talked about all this Nintendo's new direction, which stressed a lot of people out at first. But for me, it just kind of blew my mind. And I'm like, oh, you know, this could actually work. You know, the way they presented it sounded really doable, sounded really reasonable. So with that being said, why don't we just go around, everyone share where you can find them across the internet, and then you viewers, please let us know in the comments, you know, on Flia's anticipation blog, which he needs to write, you know, what you're thinking of this new strategy, perhaps when you think the Nintendo NX might release, etc. So I am, of course, Paulo Salon on Twitter, Paulo Salon on my IGN. Find my work on Nintendo Enthusiast. I just wrote 3 features about the Nintendo NX. Go read them, live them, love them, learn them. All right, moving on. Matt.
All right, I am Matt the Manga Viking on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
Okay, short and sweet. Mike.
Alright, I'm Troy Fullbuster on Twitch and Twitter. Also, Super Nintendo Bros. That's me Gaming 64 on YouTube. Catch out. We just did Ali Ali part like 12, but we did like a new kind of take on it where we just cut to the best scenes in each thing. So hopefully you guys enjoy that and blah.
Cool. And last but not least, Flia.
Hi guys, I'm Flia D'Aloisio from IGN. Thank you, Christopher and Steve, for inviting me as a guest in another podcast from the community Gamecast. I'm in episode 3 talking about Nintendo. So thank you guys. And
one wrong word on their podcast and you're out.
No, I'm not part. I'm not a regular member. I was invited as a guest in that episode, so that's it. But thank you guys, and we hopefully will have you as our guest here. And thank you, community, for the support that you gave us. At least they still write in my wall to keep up the good work. So that's cool.
All right, awesome sauce. Thanks everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. Tune in every Monday except next Monday because we won't be here. Every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain, because those are the only 2 times that matter. Because nobody else.
Yeah, we will have a full 2 weeks of Nintendo news, so it will be awesome.
All right, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
See ya.